Off in salty ocean, off where the waves roll free. The sparkling water rises, then crashes to the sea. Out amongst the breakers, you'll have no need to fear. It's true, it's the blue frontier.
Welcome to another episode of Rising Tide, the Ocean Podcast. This is David Helberg, and today we have something special. A few days ago, I got to join oceanographer and Blue Frontier board member Joy LeiLei Shih as she led our 2026 Blue Frontier Youth Ambassadors on an Ocean Week trip to Washington, D.C. Here they attended various panels, forums, and events, including my Forest of the Sea book talk at Busboys and Poets, but mostly they worked the halls of Congress, educating their elected officials on the issues they're involved in as youth activists. They had some dozen meetings over 3 days on Capitol Hill, including direct meetings with Senators Padilla, Schiff, and Schatz, and Representatives Raskin, Huffman, and Liccardo. So before we talk with Avery, age 13, Kianna, who's 16, Jack, 13, and Liam, 14, let's first hear some blue news you can use. Why would the National Science Foundation under the Trump administration send ships out to sea to remove $368 million worth of deep-sea ocean observing gear, including arrays of mooring and sensors off Oregon that have just been pulled out? The Ocean Observatories Initiative has produced vital data on coastal flooding, also marine heat waves helpful to fishermen. The Heritage Foundation's Project 2025, the blueprint for Trump's policies, calls for the dismantling of the observation system to reduce what it calls, quote, climate alarmism. This administration so deeply wedded to, or at least shacked up with big oil, that it won't support any climate science. Nor does the Trump regime like industries, including solar and wind, that produce electricity cheaper than coal and oil. In fact, it just committed $1 billion of taxpayer money to get a French company to stop building offshore wind turbines in U.S. waters and instead pledged to drill for more expensive oil. If this sounds kind of, what's the scientific term? Oh yes, stupid. Then I can only suggest it's also greedy and corrupt. Or perhaps the EPA lied to us and never took the lead out of the gas. Either way, this wouldn't happen in a functioning democracy, the kind that can still be restored by voting the ocean this November. And that's blue news you can use. Welcome back. LeiLei, why don't you start us off with a bit about how our Youth Ambassador program's organized and then introduce our DC attendees.
Sure. Hi. Thank you, David. So this is our third year of the Youth Ambassador program. I came up with the idea for this program in 2022, shortly after I became a mom, and two things happened. So suddenly I had the most important reason in the world to protect our planet beyond my natural inclination to do so, that I already had. And I was transitioning from being perceived as a youth voice myself into my more professional roles. But it was still fresh in my memory how powerful it was to be a youth voice, how inspiring youth voices can be to everyone, whether it's the decision makers or speaking to the general public. And so I thought I could give back and elevate the next generation of youth and teach them how to effectively advocate for the oceans. So to date, we've had 7 youth ambassadors, and they are so impressive, knowledgeable, and passionate. And this program gives them the opportunity to learn some of the most powerful and effective ways to use their voice. Talking directly to their senators and congresspeople on Capitol Hill, where it all happens, and influencing policy and laws that will directly protect the oceans for themselves and future generations. So this, as you mentioned, this mentorship program officially lasts about a year. And next, these youth ambassadors will organize a community project to support their ocean interests and just to continue to build on their confidence to create future opportunities for themselves. So David, you and I actually collaborated the inaugural year of the Youth Ambassador Program in 2023. And it went so well that last year, when I thought it was time to take the program to the next level, I knew that I wanted Blue Frontier to be the new home of this Youth Ambassador Program. And gosh, last week was absolutely incredible. As you mentioned, so many senators and congresspeople made the time to directly meet with these youth, and they were so impressed with how they spoke with passion and knowledge, armed with solutions and clear in their asks. So we covered topics like plastic pollution, protecting watersheds, marine mammal protections, greening of ports, ending offshore drilling, and carbon sequestration. So yeah, that's a little bit about our program.
And one thing I'm curious before we get into your actual experiences in DC is because it was a selection process, and how did the four of you first hear about the Youth Ambassador Program in order to apply? Let's go down the list. Liam?
I found out about the program from Jack, who is my best friend from my previous school that I just graduated from, and he gave me this opportunity to be part of this amazing act, and I just wanted to be part of it. So.
Cool. And Jack, how did you hear of it?
I really just heard about it through my dad, so he told me about it, and I thought it sounded interesting, so yeah.
Kianna?
I heard about the program through my high school counselor who founded it for me after I told her about my interests of the ocean.
Cool. And Avery?
When I was trying to get signage up in some of the beaches around Ko'olina, I had to reach out to a few people, and then I got in contact with LeiLei, who introduced me and encouraged me to apply to the program.
Cool. And LeiLei, maybe tell us who all we're talking to here.
So Avery, who we just heard from, she's from Kapolei, which is in Hawaii. She's an advocate for honu, which is the Hawaiian word for green sea turtles. She started an educational project called Pu'ulu Honu that brings together students, families, and visitors to protect not only Oahu's turtles, but all of the honu in Hawaii and beyond through education, community service, and stewardship. And then Kianna is from Oceanside, California. She's passionate about ocean advocacy that's told through indigenous stories. She shows how consumerism culture leads to the overburdening of landfills and how these discards find their way to storm drains, rivers, and oceans. She's also an artist, so she uses pieces from cleanups to create mixed media arts as a visual tool to help people realize the impact of their discards. Jack, who is from Silver Spring, Maryland, has already dedicated his young life to leadership and civic engagement through Model United Nations, serving on the junior council for the magazine The Week, and as a class representative, he's helped raise and debate issues. He grew up between the Chesapeake Bay and Monterey Bay, as well as the coast of Maine, so he's seen how single-use plastics spread through wetlands, creeks, and into oceans. And Liam is also from Silver Spring, Maryland. He's an avid surfer, whitewater kayaker, and ocean enthusiast. From a young age, Liam was called to participate in family beach cleanups as an essential part of every beach vacation. He's also been a part of Model UN, where he was nominated by his FAO committee to speak at the UN General Assembly in front of more than 6,000 participants, advisors, and parents. So these are just some of our incredible youth ambassadors this year.
And let me ask you, and you can just raise your hand or speak up, the four of you. I mean, this is the citizen lobbying is part of what Blue Frontier thinks of as the outside-inside approach, which is we do activism, we do projects, and then we try and convince our elected officials that they need to support our citizen engagement, that when the people lead, the leaders will follow. So I assume this is your first time citizen lobbying. What were your impressions over the few days that this went on?
Well, I think it was a really interesting and cool experience because I've never gotten the opportunity to speak to like my senators and representatives. So I thought it was really cool. And I also thought it was really cool that they actually cared about what we were talking about and not just like throwing the idea off or disregarding us. And they were actually interested in what we had to say. So I thought it was really cool opportunity.
And you, when we were in Senator Schatz's office, I think you actually started looking at some potential programs for funding for your signage, for your sea turtle warning signs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then we also wanted to include like content, educational content in like airlines or like restaurants and just different tourism heavy places, because that is the best way to spread education.
Anyone else? First impressions of lobbying?
I thought it was a
And
a great thing that happened, and that it just shows like how accessible, speaking up for your environment is, and how anyone can make a difference if you just put a little effort into it. And I'm so grateful to have LeiLei to help us out with meeting up with Jimmy Raskin, my local representative, and it's great, to help push them forward.
Any other thoughts?
I really appreciated the experience. It was super unique. Actually being face to face with these people. In the past, I've reached out through emails I found and I've never really gotten any responses or anything. But actually asking for things and seeing them write it down and putting like words with their actions was just really valuable for me to see that change can happen. It's just something you might have to do face to face to push these people to actually do something about these issues.
Kianna, talk a little about your issue and how it, I mean, I should point out that you were all meeting with your own representatives because you're constituents. And because of where you're located, you tended to be meeting with Congress members and senators who are sympathetic to you. So also understanding that the majority of the House and Senate today are not as sympathetic to your issues. Like Kianna, your issue is the consumerism and plastic pollution, and a lot of these people are funded by the plastics industry.
Yeah, my research and stuff was focused on how the ports, specifically in Long Beach in LA, because they're some of the biggest in the world, how it affects not just the people and stuff around it, but the ocean. It affects whale strikes, and not all the shipping containers make it back to their final destination, with some of it ending up in the ocean, therefore contributing to a lot of plastics, such as the biggest garbage patch located between Hawaii and California, and how it has about 2 trillion pieces of plastic as of today. So specifically, when I met with people such as Sam Liccardo, I asked for the greening of ports, but also to hold the people who are the producers of these things more responsible.
After you talk about serious issues like protecting sea turtles and stopping whale strikes, but were you surprised at just the distances and size of the congressional offices and how getting from one place to another is kind of a challenge?
Yeah, I actually was very surprised about that. Sometimes I think it's harder as youth to communicate with these adults because it's like we're younger and we don't have as much experience as them, and seeing some people who are older than us who have lived through these experiences, I think not necessarily care as much, I think really affects us because we are the ones who are going to continue living on this planet longer than them. And it seems like as the youth today that we almost care more about what's going to happen because it is our future. And I think once they see that, they can connect more with us and understand that they have lived on this planet and has contributed to them, but now needs to contribute to the next generation.
What is Rising Tide? Rising Tide is Blue Frontier's bi-weekly half-hour show that features a diversity of ocean voices, from the famous to the fascinating, deep-sea explorers to whale wranglers, Arctic residents to climate justice warriors. With public broadcasting under attack, Blue Frontier offers Rising Tide and all associated content for free to community and public radio stations across the nation. We need your support to keep producing our salty, in-depth conversations. A tax-deductible donation at bluefront.org will help us keep getting the word out about our awesome blue planet. And now, back to the show.
I wanted to ask Jack and Liam specifically, is there any advice or anything you would want to say to other youth that are interested in advocating for the oceans?
I'd say one of the biggest things you can do is spread awareness about these problems. And protesting is another good thing to do. Anyone can make a sign and go out on the street, go to your local representatives and talk to them about these specific topics. Jack and I did a presentation in school to spread awareness. Like, we did a presentation for school the day after, which helped our classmates know about these bills and the effects on our waterways and stuff like that.
What was the presentation specifically on?
It was really on like what we did on. We were only there for Monday, but basically what we did in the program and about talking to the congressmen and senators. So yeah, we kind of just like briefly covered like the bills that we were talking about and kind of how the day was structured.
And I'm curious what the reaction of your classmates was when you said, "Oh, we were up in Washington or down in Washington talking to senators and Congress people about ocean bills."
I think a lot of people were surprised, but at the same time, I think a lot of kids didn't really know who the people we were speaking to were. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they're not teaching civics anymore. You don't know who your Congress members or senators are.
And then for Avery and Kianna, is there anything that you would like anyone listening to this podcast or the general public to know about oceans and anything they should do to help protect oceans and our planet beyond what you've shared so far?
I think I like what Jack and Liam were talking about. I mean, if you just do a little bit to make a difference, I mean, it makes a huge difference, because ultimately the most effective solution to all these problems is just awareness. And if like visitors to beaches or tourists can understand these problems and really want to do something about them, lots of change can be made. And I think that if you can really pay attention to all these problems that people are trying to bring up, then there can be a real difference made.
And Avery, I think what was very effective when you presented to the either the staff or the representatives was when you talked about that you used to feed the sea turtles yourself. So it's not like making those people into the bad guys.
Yeah, exactly. They just don't know any better. And that's why I think like signage is such a good idea, because it's not like going out to them and yelling them, because ultimately they're not going to want to fix anything. If they're being yelled at, they're going to get defensive, and then they're just not going to want to listen to us. So I think if we let them know that it's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay to have done it before, but just to change in the future and to improve, I think that could be really powerful.
Something I think that people should take away from all this is just to educate yourself. Like in this time, we have access to so many things with the internet and books and all those sort of things. And once you're able to educate yourself, you can spread your knowledge to other people. Today, we have social media, and that's the way we connect with people these days. Like, if you can take what you learn and create a social media platform off of that and continue to educate everybody else, at the end of the day, when we're educated as a nation, we can convince these people who have the power to actually do something to help our planet.
And this is when we wrote our book, 50 Ways to Save the Ocean. Everything you do every day affects the ocean around you. And one of our past, not ambassadors, but our past Peter Benchley Ocean War Youth winners started a little older than you guys, started a audit of the plastic use in his high school in Los Angeles, and just went around and noted where all the single-use plastic was used, where other plastics could be replaced by other materials. And that was the beginning of what became a district-wide effort. You know, he started with his school and soon spread to other schools. What are your thoughts in terms of projects for your schools or in your schools?
Because I create art with plastic, I actually intern at my local library, and there's a lot of younger kids there. And something that I really like to do with them is I'm able to teach a class about every couple of months, and I get to bring in my artwork and show the kids, and they get so excited. I think it's really cool. And I get to bring in the pieces I collected through my Just Serve Club, where we do beach cleanups, and I bring in the plastic, and I get to see them create things and learn about how plastic affects the ocean. And I always get so excited at the end because all the kids are like, "Oh, I want to like pick up plastic from the beach and make my own art at home," and that like really touches my heart.
And Kianna, you described one of your pieces to a couple of the offices there. Maybe you could
Mhm.
describe that piece that you're particularly proud of.
Yeah, one of my favorite pieces reflects my heritage. I'm a quarter Okinawan. Um, and because of the military bases there and their presence, there's a lot of pollution there that affects the people living there and also the marine life. I created a piece with a military base, made entirely out of plastic, and there's like pollution and stuff around it. And on top of the base is a girl, and she's in a kimono, which is traditional Okinawan wear, and most of it is all made of plastic.
Jack and I at our school, we started something this year called the Berry Trail, Berry being our school. And we have some woods by our school, and we started creating this trail where it's just like a place where people can walk in the woods, in the nature, and feel more connected to our planet. And there's also trash that goes along a creek that runs around the trail. And we also just pick up trash and stuff. And we just had a service day where everyone takes part in serving the community and the planet.
I think I have a club. It's called Pu'uluhono. We're working on turning it into a nonprofit organization. And currently it's just been at my school, or only my school has known about it. But I feel like if I'm able to expand it to other schools around the island, that would be really helpful, because my idea is that one school could be in charge of a specific beach. And if we're all can work together to take care of our own little part, then a lot can happen.
I wanted to also ask all of you, was there anything from the conversations with your representatives that stood out, like something that really made an impact on you that you'll take home with you and maybe inform or shape your advocacy work going forward?
I thought it was really cool that Jamie Raskin took time out of his day to come and meet with us on these specific topics and hear what we had to say in person directly. And that really made me feel like our senators care, or Congress people care about the community and what we have to say and what we feel like needs to be improved upon.
I think when I met with Sam Liccardo, and I got to talk about my asks or what I want to see from the state of California, and I saw him writing them down. That like meant a lot to me.
To have your congressperson actually taking note of your concerns. And of course, what you have to do is follow up. They all have local offices, and you should just say, I met with the congressman last week or however long ago, and, here's the project. And, they're supposed to, their purpose is to serve their constituents, and you are their constituents. And, as I said in a couple of the meetings, you're not the leaders of the future. You're showing your leaders today. We just have to partner with you and get the people around you who maybe are over 18 to vote in support of what you're doing.
I have sort of a fun question for everybody. If each of you could share, what is your favorite part of being in the nation's capital, whether it was related to our advocacy work or not?
I think for me, my favorite part was to meet so many different people, like all of you youth ambassadors, that you guys actually care about all these different ocean issues and how passionate you guys are to talk to them and how brave you are. Because I mean, it's kind of scary and nerve-wracking to talk to these senators, and it just seemed like so easy. And I felt like that was really cool to be able to meet other people that are just as concerned about keeping our earth safe and our ocean safe in the future too.
It was really nice to watch all of you bond. That was really special.
Reality struck when I was walking down the hallway in one of the buildings that we were in, and JFK's office. And that really hit me, that we're walking in the hallways, in the rooms where big decisions get made and important people are, and that we were there and we were talking with these people and we were making an impact, and anyone can do that.
And you passed JFK's office from when he was a senator. And somebody was posing with Supreme Court portrait.
Yes, Avery and Kianna got a picture in front of Ruth Bader Ginsburg's portrait. That was very cool.
I also think another cool thing for me was when we went into the Capitol, there was a big statue of Kamehameha, and that's the first king of Hawaii. And I thought that was really cool that they included that, even though Hawaii is so far away from DC. And I felt like there was lots of other people that they could have included of statues in there, and they chose to include him. And I thought that was a really special part.
Jack, did you have a favorite part of the whole trip? Anything?
I guess my favorite part might have been how Congressman Jamie Raskin took time out of his day to meet with us, because I was expecting to only meet members of the staff of the congresspeople or senators, but I don't know, I thought it was surprising that I don't know, it was nice to see that he cared.
We were surprised too. I mean, I think we were briefing you that, we probably only meet with staff members, but that's cool because the staffers are really the ones who make decisions. And then all these Congress people and senators kind of popped out because they really wanted to be there with you and meet youth activists. And I think, you also give them a sense that they're getting something done if young people are engaged with the issues that they engage with. And when they see that, I think you're also a source of hope. And I think with that, I just want to thank you, Liam, Jack, Kianna, and Avery for, first of all, for being part of the Youth Ambassador Program and coming with us to DC, and for giving us hope that that the upcoming generation is concerned for its future and willing to take leadership in turning the tide for our future, and also for joining us today on the Rising Tide Ocean podcast. And of course, thank you, LeiLei, for organizing it all.
I just wanted to echo David and thank all of you and say congratulations to all of you for such a wonderful week during Ocean Week on Capitol Hill.
Thank you for joining us on the Rising Tide Ocean podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen, and leave us a review or share it with your friends and other ocean lovers. Follow us on Instagram and visit bluefront.org for more updates and additional resources. Rising Tide is a production of Blue Frontier, co-hosted by David Helvarg and me, Vicki Nichols-Goldstein of the Inland Ocean Coalition, with production support from Holden Hardcastle of Fluid Studios, Natasha Benjamin, and Nick Paz, and editing services provided by Charles Landon of Studio Cape May. Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay hopeful and stay salty.
Off in the salty ocean, off where the waves roll free, the sparkling water rises, then crashes to the sea. Out amongst the breakers, you'll have no need to fear. It's true, it's the blue frontier. Off in the salty ocean, off to the blue frontier.
Sparky, come here, buddy. Sparky! There you are, good boy, Sparky.